What is going on? Welcome to this week's episode of the Second of Strength podcast. Wherever you're at, I'm grateful you're here, grateful you're listening, grateful you're spending your valuable seconds with me. I truly believe that you have the power to change your life in 1 second. So I'm grateful you're spending a few of those minutes with me, a few of those seconds. But today, we're going to talk about something that I think is really, really important in today's world. I go and speak at a lot of schools. I speak with a lot of school principals, school counselors, and people in general. And I think that this word, resilience, is one of the things that today's youth is lacking, and a lot of other people are lacking as well. So this episode on resilience is for our youth and for you. And what we're going to talk about today is 7 things that I think you can do to be more resilient, to stand back up, to choose to move forward, to fight for yourself, because this is your life, this is your future. And look, speaking from a lot of experience here in overcoming things, I don't know, like life isn't always perfect, and honestly, if you have a plan for your life, you can plan for that plan to not be accurate. Like nothing goes the way we plan, nothing goes the way we want. And certainly there's times in life where like everything is working and everything is moving and everything seems to be just like this perfect bouquet of roses. And there's times where it just doesn't, and it feels like no matter what we do, we just can't get our footing, we just can't move forward. Like life is really hard. And specifically with today's youth, one of the challenges that we're seeing is that because of the amount of time and adults that we're spending with digital media and we're spending on social media, is that instead of like standing up and moving forward, we sit down and we start scrolling our phones, and we are losing the ability to just go, just like deal with deal with troubles, deal with problems, deal with like life and the things that happen, because life isn't always perfect, and just stand up and start moving. So today's episode, I think, is really important for you to listen to. I think it's really important for me to like absorb and like reground myself in these things. And it's important for your teenagers, for your youth, because at the end of the day, they are our future. At the end of the day, you are your own future, right? You have the opportunity today to stand back up and move forward no matter what's going on. And it takes a little bit of being resilient. So today we're going to talk about that. And I hope it helps you. If it helps you, share it with someone. It helps me a ton when you share this podcast with other people, because it helps other people in today be more resilient to overcome the challenges they're facing. So share this with at least one other person, and let's grow this podcast so we can help a lot more people, which is what I hope to do. So the first thing that to be more resilient, to like be able to stand back up, is I want you to create your peace place. That could be your car. That could be your room. That, for me, my peace place, honestly, is I I have a place. I walk my dog. It's up the mountain a little bit, and it's just this. Honestly, it's like this cul-de-sac that is away from people. At some point, they'll build a house there, I'm sure, and it'll ruin my peace place. I'll have to find something else. But it's this place I go to think. It's this place I go to be. It's this place I go to be closer to God. It's just me and my dog, and I call it, it's my peace place. And I want you to create a sacred space for you where when life gets hard, when things don't go your way, you can go and just reset and feel peace. If it's your room, that's great. But teenagers, you got to keep your room clean. Adults, you got to keep your room clean. Make your bed first thing in the morning so that when life gets hard, if it gets hard in that particular day, you're not walking into the chaos of your space, right? You're going to a place where there is already peace built in. So you need to kind of make this place sacred, make this place, an untouchable space where in any given day, in any given moment, you can go and feel that peace there. And I'm not saying go there and scroll social media, because that is anti to resilience in my mind. I'm saying go there and just reset, reground yourself, and so you can focus, so you can stand up and move forward. So number one, create a peace place in your life. I'd love on social media, I'd love for you to send me a DM and tell me what your peace place is, because I think that it'll help other people know what kind of place they should look for. A lot of times that could be your car. If you're like go to work every day and like life gets hard, like go on a walk or go sit in your car for a few minutes and just feel that moment of reset or of reprieve so that you can move forward. So that's the first one. The second one is I want you to learn to say that wasn't so bad. Just say it. That wasn't so bad. The reality is 99.9% of the failures that we have in life, 99.9% of the time that things don't go the way we planned. It is never as bad as what we thought it was going to be if we failed in that moment. So learn to say, like, that wasn't so bad. Put it in perspective. Put it in perspective of your life. Put it in perspective of all the other things going on. The reality is when things don't go as planned and when we fail, it's usually not that bad. And it's usually, if you look back on your life, you can look at all those little speed bumps, those little micro moments where we were like, oh man, I totally messed up on that, or that didn't work, or things didn't go as planned. And you look at it and you go, oh, yeah, well, I survived, right? I didn't die. Like, I'm okay. And so learn to put things in perspective of the grand, like, scheme of life. And the reality is most of the challenges that you face on a given day, most of the things that we need to be resilient from really weren't that bad in the first place. So learn to put things in perspective. That's the second one. The third thing is this: take control of what you can through decisive action. Take control of what you can through decisive action. If you remember in Maverick, when Tom Cruise and Rooster are in this like tailspin diving down, or honestly any movie where that's happening, but like in that moment, there's only one thing you can control, and that is grabbing the lever and pulling up in your life. The reality is when life gets out of control, there's a couple things that you can control. You can control your mentality. You can control your attitude. You can control your energy. You can control a couple of micro things that are going to help you get back on track to where you need to go and where you're trying to get to and what you want to try and achieve. But if we let all of the outside influences of life influence our insides, then it gets really hard to stand back up and it gets really hard to be more resilient. So focus on the small things that you can control, the micro habits, the small wins. Maybe it's just simply setting an alarm in the morning and going, I am going to wake up at this alarm at 5:40 in the morning, and that is what I'm going to win today. I'm going to go and walk for 5 minutes, and I can control that. And I know I can control these certain things. And when you start to regain control, like pulling up on that lever in a fighter jet, when you start to regain control, then you can start balancing, then you can start flying, then you can start moving to where you want to go. But if we are constantly trying to take control of all the things that we cannot control, then in the end, it gets really hard to pull out of that tailspin that we're in. So that is the third thing. The fourth thing is, don't bottle up failure. You got to talk about it. You got to have community. And so have a group of trusted people in your life. Could be a spouse, could be your friends, could be your parents if you're a teenager, could be a sibling, but have that group of trusted people who are going to be there and listen to you and help you. Because I think in those moments, if we bottle up our failure, sometimes we sit with it too long and it starts to eat us from the inside, and it gets really hard to move forward. We've got to let those failures and those things that we're keeping inside, we've got to get them on the outside. When they're on the outside, other people can help us. Number two was that wasn't so bad. Other people can help you recognize that failure wasn't so bad. Other people can help you to establish a sense of foundation, regain foundation in your life to move forward. And it's really hard to do if we bottle that stuff up inside. So have that person that you can talk to, have that person. And, sometimes when you go into that conversation, it's like, hey, look, I'm having a tough day. Can you just listen to me for a minute? I think sometimes teenagers don't talk to their parents because we're always trying to fix things. Or like guys, we're fixers. Dads out there, we're fixers. And sometimes we just need to be listeners. But you can preset that up with somebody. You can go to your spouse, go to your parents, go to your friend and say, hey, I'm having a little tough time right now. Can you just listen to me for a minute? Let me talk this out, and let them listen. I don't need you to fix it. I don't need you to solve it for me. I'm going to be okay. But can you listen to me for a minute? Sometimes we need to vocalize that because we're not really looking for an answer. We're not really looking for a fix. We're just looking to get some things off our chest. And when we do that, then we can start to move forward. Then we can, we start to solve our problems or start to solve our challenges or start to stand back up and be more resilient on our own. So that is the fourth thing. The fifth thing is create a habit. Create a habit of health, because when we create a habit of health, it creates a springboard to jump back from. So this is one of those pieces of resiliency that we need to start now and prepare ourselves for rough moments. There are going to be rough patches. Things aren't going to go as planned, as we've seen, as you've seen in our life, as we know, as we've talked about. And so in those, we've got to prepare now for those rough patches. We've got to start now. When we were, I've shared this before, but when my wife and we were going on our 20th anniversary, we were driving at 3 a.m. to the airport, and at 3 a.m. we hit a moose. And I'm going to repeat that so you hear that the right way. We hit a moose while we were driving about 65 miles an hour down the freeway. The moose hit our front side. It flipped into the windshield up over the car. Quite frankly, we are lucky to be alive today. And it was this very traumatic moment. In that moment of trauma, I was personally as calm and as collected as I could possibly be. I could have passed a lie detector test. Like, it was like, like steel nerves. Like, I was as calm as can be. Well, I wasn't calm because of the moment. I wasn't calm because of I was calm because I had prepared for moments in my life like this. Not that I prepared to hit a moose, but like, I've done so much mental work over the last couple of years, and it doesn't matter where you're starting right now. It doesn't matter. Just start reading books, that strengthen you, start reading books on resilience, start listening to podcasts like this. If you're here, it's because you're a person who believes in self-care. You believe in self-growth. You believe in improving yourself so that you can overcome. Well, I've spent a lot of years working on myself and self-improvement. So in the moment of trial, I was prepared for that. And I was able to react appropriately. I was able to take the next best step and move forward. And I think that sometimes that's what creating a habit of health is. It's creating a habit of healthy habits so that when dark times come, when failure happens, you're prepared to overcome it. You're prepared to jump off of that. And that is an intentional, predetermined choice that you get to make right now to start doing those things. And I can't advocate it more, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen today. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know the hard days. You don't know what failures are coming. You don't know any of it. But as you start to take baby steps of building resilience today and creating healthy habits, it is going to help you overcome the challenges that you face tomorrow. And there's nothing more important than that, because you're going to need to be there for yourself, for other people in those hard days. So that is something that is so critical when it comes to building resilience in you and building resilience in your youth. The sixth thing is this. I want you to learn to pause. I'll call it a power pause. When things happen, it is okay, and I'm going to say this very clearly, it is okay to pause. In fact, not even is it okay to pause, I think it is required that you need to pause and hit reset on your life. There's a little acronym that I use. It's called STOP. When things happen, a failure, when life gets hard, whatever it is, I want you to stop. The number one, S, I want you to be still. Just pause, be still for a minute. Number two, T, I want you to take a breath. Just breathe, just be with yourself, just be and breathe. Number three is the O, observe where you are and accept it. And don't judge yourself for what happened. Don't judge yourself for the failure. Don't judge yourself for what's going on. Just accept where you are, because when we do that, then we can move on to P, and that is proceed forward. And so it is okay to stop. It is okay to pause. It is required to stop. It is required to stop, because when you stop, you can be still, you can take a breath, you can recognize and observe where you are, and then you can proceed with where you want to go. It is so important to learn to do that, because what we're able to do when we pause is we're able to see the whole field. We're able to see everything that's gone on, that's happened, and we're able to move forward in that way. So I call it your power pause, and we want to intentionally pause so that we can then intentionally start again. So that is the sixth thing. And number 7 is let's plan. Number 1, make a plan right now, today. Make a choice that you are going to plan to stand back up no matter what life throws at you, no matter how it knocked you down. And I literally want you to say it. I plan to stand back up. I will stand back up. Be that person. Ingrain that in you, that you are a person who does not stay down when you're knocked down. Everybody's going to get knocked down. You're going to get knocked down. I'm going to get down. But be a person that has a plan, that you will stand back up no matter what. Yes, take a pause. Yes, go to your peace place. Yes, learn to say it wasn't that bad. Learn all of these things, but be the person who has predetermined that you will stand back up. Make that plan. And the second plan I want you to do is when things don't go your way, you have planned to stand back up, then I want you to plan your next step. And I said step, not steps. I want you to plan one step forward. What is the next one step that you can take? I want it to be small. I want it to be manageable. I want it to be something that you can just check the box, because it's about getting back in control, right? And when you plan, and after a failure, no matter how big, no matter how small, I want you to very quickly put a check in the win box for you. Put a check so that you can recognize that you are not a failure. You just had a failure. It's very different. And when we have a failure, then we can also put checks in the check mark so that we can win again. That is so important for our mentality. It's so important for our mental health, and it's important for our resilience, because it proves to us that we are resilient. It proves to us that we are in control of our lives. It proves to us that we have what it takes to stand up, to win again, to move forward and overcome. And the quicker we do that, after pausing, but the quicker we do that, then the quicker we're able to move on and forget that we had even had a failure in our life. We can look back then and recognize, hey, that was just a small road bump. Hey, that wasn't so bad. I overcame that. I am a person who overcomes those things. So, oh man, wherever you're at, look, there's a lot of people who are going through a lot of struggles right now. And it's okay. We all do. We all get knocked down. We all have to stand back up. And wherever you're at, I just hope that you know how valuable you are. I hope that you know that you are a person who gets to stand back up. You're a person who can. You're completely capable. In fact, the trials that you're going through right now are uniquely for you, so that you can learn to overcome them, so that you can then overcome your next trial and help other people. And I think Ed Milet's the one who says that we are best positioned to help the people that we once were. Well, if you've overcome something in your life, then you are a person who can that can help other people overcome the challenges that they're facing. So I hope this episode helps you. All of these things, as you look through it, your peace place, learn to say that wasn't so bad, taking control, talking to somebody, creating habits of health, pausing, taking a power pause, and planning. Every one of those, I talk a lot about your 1 second of strength. That's why the podcast is called the Second of Strength podcast, because you have the power in 1 second to do any one of these 7 things to be more resilient and stand back up. So I am praying for you. I believe in you, and I'll leave you the same way I leave you. First, I'm going to ask you, please share this with someone else. Somebody may need this today. And if it was you, then I'm here for you. If it wasn't you, then somebody in your life probably needs this today, because everybody's going through things right now. So share it with someone, share it to your Instagram stories, tag me at Real Tanner Clark, and I'll leave you the same way I always leave you. Go find your 1 second of strength and be happy.